Hey guys, Motorcarnut here, and today we're going to be removing a wheel lock that the original owner or the owner of the car does not have the wheel lock. And this is not a factory wheel lock. This is a VW, but it doesn't really matter. This is not factory, and we're going to have to remove it because you have to, because if you don't have the wheel locks, you get a flat tire, or you're going to go to a service station. For instance, let me back up a little bit. He did go to a service station, wanted to rotate the tires, and they wanted to charge him $150 just to take one of them off. So they're talking about $600 just to take them off. I think that's ridiculous. So I'm going to do it for him for nothing, but I'm making the video in exchange for that. And he's getting new rims, so he doesn't really care about these rims. So that gives us other options. If you have nice rims, this option may not be for you. It all depends, because it's going to involve damaging it a little bit. And he doesn't care because he's getting rid of them. So he's going to rotate them, and then he's getting new rims. I told him, whatever you want to do, we can do it either way. So I have a method where you can drill them out. That'll probably be the best method. And it's just more time consuming. But he doesn't care. He doesn't mind. So I figure, okay, I don't have a video on this other procedure that I'm going to do. But let me back up a little bit. A lot of times people go, okay, you can get like a 12mm socket a little bit wider, hammer it on, and get it off. A lot of times that slips, and they do make a special socket that grips when you're turning it off, you know, left to the left, counterclockwise, take it out. It grips better. But the problem with this, these are aftermarket, and I don't know if you can see it, but this has a ring around this whole thing. So if you hammer a socket on there, the ring is going to spin. It's not going to do nothing. That's an extra security device. All right, so you either have to have the tool that was made for this, and he doesn't know. He just bought this car. He doesn't know who makes this tool, and I don't either. And it's definitely not VW. So we're left with a couple of options. That hammering on the socket ain't gonna work, because these spin. This spins. The collar spins. It's for that reason, so you can't do that. So we're gonna weld it. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld the ring all the way around so it don't spin. Then we're going to put a bolt on there, and we're going to weld the bolt, and hopefully it'll come off. And when you're welding anything on a car, you always disconnect the negative battery terminal. You have to be careful of your fuel lines. If you have a fuel leak, you smell fuel, do not weld anything, all right? Because bottom line, that's going to be a bad day. All right, so if you're not comfortable with this, do not do it. Let a professional do it. But if you are familiar with welding tools, you have welding tools, hopefully you know you do not weld near any open flames, and you disconnect the negative battery terminal, because what you're going to do is you're going to put extreme current through the chassis. It can go backtrack into the grounds and blow computers out. So you try to fix one thing and you'll destroy another. A lot of times these things are really tight, so we're going to try it that way. If you want to do it this way, you can get like a piece of, let's say, aluminum sheathing, and you can stick it in here all the way around, and you can weld, and the sparks and everything won't damage the surface of the rim. But even though I still wouldn't recommend that procedure, I mentioned it to him. Actually, he mentioned it to me. Can you weld it? I said, I can do it that way. So, you know, but I told him the outcome of that, and he don't care. So we're doing it that way. You decide what you want to do. And this does require a welding machine. Nowadays, you can get cheap welding machines, Harbor Freight, online, really cheap. If you don't know how to weld, I'm going to make videos on teaching people how to weld. I'm also a certified welder, and I'm going to make videos on that, but that's a separate story. If you can't weld, then the best way is to watch my other video. I'll put the link below on how to drill it out, because those are basically the only two options. If you try to smash it, it's just not going to work. Cutting it, it's just not, they never really work. Chiseling it out, you're going to destroy the rim anyway. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get yourself a bolt that's pretty thick, all right? But not too thick that you won't be able to weld it, you won't have enough room. but not too thin where it's too thin and it's just going to snap. It all depends how tight this is. This looks like this hasn't been off in a long time. Look at these rotors. This car, he's trying to put it back on the road. That's probably why he doesn't know where the wheel lock is. But you get an idea. This should be okay. You don't want something too long. It's not going to have enough torque. It's going to flex too much. The shorter, the better, but you don't want it too short that you can't be able to weld in there either. So the first thing I'm going to do is weld the ring, this outside ring that spins, to the center part over here, and then a little bit more. Then we're going to mount this like this, and hopefully we can get it to come off. Okay, so I just welded it. Doesn't have to look too fancy. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's strong, it's not going to spin out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to put this in the center like that. I'm going to tack it, and I'm going to weld it all the way around. Nice and tight. And then hopefully we can just get that loose depending on how tight that bolt is. So I just welded it. Now, it's good to do it. I'm doing the video, but when you do it, after you weld and it's nice and red hot, that's good too because it's heating up the lug bolt and it make it come out easier. But I'm making the video, so it's still very, very hot. So I'm going to try to zip it out and see if we can get it to come out nice and easy in one shot. All right, we're going to do this together and see how it goes. Oh, there it goes. Boom. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, so that was live. All I did was pause it a little bit to go get the socket. So that one came out, $150. Really, that's messed up to charge somebody that much money. So, like I said, if you want, you got to risk, you got to be careful yourself. I didn't really damage anything. Maybe a little sparks in it could be buffed out. You really can't see it. Nothing is damaged, but you may have a different type of rim. So I just want you to know that there's other ways to do it. You can drill them out. You want to do it this way, or maybe you don't know how to weld, so the drilling is going to be the only way. All those other tools, if these lug nuts are stripped, or these are lug bolts, if they're really, really stripped, you could try the tool. Not when hammering the socket thing. That's not going to work. They have a special tool that grabs when you try to take it off. But when it's so worn, those tools are not going to work. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to end up making it like a cone, making it pointy over here as it gets thicker inside and thinner, like a cone. And then no tool is going to work. You're going to just have to drill it out, or if you have a welder machine, do this method. All right, guys, just trying to save you money. Motorcarnut. Please subscribe, hit that like button. Any questions pertaining to this video, leave them below. I answer all my questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have any ideas for me to make new videos, let me know. Drop them below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.